Don Peoples, Deadbolt. Let's talk about it. So yeah, man, we about to get into this whole Hassan Campbell versus the industry. I should title it. But really, Hassan Campbell and his recent comments and the back and forth between him and Styles P. And, his take on Jim Jones and Kwame Brown. I'm going to give my take on it. First off, I do want to commend Hassan for speaking out on a lot of the issues in our community dealing with the music for over the past couple of years. We definitely cannot take away from that. I think his story is very compelling. He comes from a very troubled youth as far as being, in a molestation situation. Also being, a former shooter going in and out of jail. Him speaking on certain things, I think he has a right to speak on those things based on his experiences on either side of the coin. Some of the things he spoke against Styles P, after I listened to what Styles P had to say and him going back at Styles P, I mean, at the end of the day, man, Hassan is right. The industry is a hypocrite. It's a situation to where you got entertainers, such as Styles P, Jim Jones, and all these dudes who stood on the code and spoke this certain wickedness in the rap music that led us to the jails and the graveyards and all type of other shit, right? We really glorified a lot of the bull that was going on in the streets and just glorifying the streets and the drug code and everything in general. And that culture is what birthed what's going on right now. So when you see entertainers trying to come back in and clean up their mistakes and, they say they doing things behind the scenes, I agree with Hassan. A lot of you dudes don't need to be behind the scenes because your music wasn't behind the scenes. Not when you was going gold and platinum. All these millions of people, kids especially, listening to your music, idolizing, listening to joints like I Got That Big Meech, Larry Hoover, Flippin' Work, Hallelujah, and I Get High. Some of my favorite cuts, by the way. Money, Power, Respect. Styles has been a part of hip hop's grimy history. I listen to the Locks for that type of inspiration. You know what I'm saying? So hearing him and him and Hassan go back and forth, Hassan makes a lot of valid points. But I'm glad that Styles P is doing the juice bar thing, speaking the health is wealth type situation. So is Jim Jones. He preaches the fitness and staying in shape. He's in shape for a mid-40s, damn near pushing 50 individual. But the things that Jim Jones did in his past, as far as what he still raps about and what he brought to New York, which was the blood and culture. Not saying that Bloods wasn't around before, but he spotlighted that along with Lil Wayne and the Game. Them three were like the pillars in the early 2000s of what gang banging and hip hop is now. So is it Jim Jones' responsibility to go and speak at these centers and open up community rec centers, schools, giving back to the community, speaking to the youth in public about the things that he used to do and what he brought to the forefront? Absolutely. Jim Jones got to speak on these things. He got to tell the youth, like, man, what I did was foolish, what I did was stupid, and I wouldn't recommend none of you dudes doing it because you're not going to be as successful. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, rappers is getting clapped, put in jail at an all-time rate for this gangster shit. So I think it's time for people like Jim Jones to step to the forefront and own his truth. Lil Wayne too. Like, I think him, Lil Wayne, and the Game need to go on a whole countrywide campaign against gangs, gun violence, and the whole nine. You know, put that in the forefront, because right now, the way Hassan is coming at you dudes, it looks like that you guys are being controlled, because you can only do things behind the scenes or still portray a certain type of image. You guys ain't really coming to the forefront, really trying to put a stop to this violence that's going on. New York right now, murder rate is going through the roof. It's time. And I know we can point back to situations, like I said, with Hassan and his upbringing and what he was a part of and what, he went through with African Bambaataa, but that's later for that. All you dudes is in y'all 40s going back and forth about who got the most street cred, who did what wrong and all that. Everybody need to come together and stop the pandemic within the pandemic, which is black on black crime. You know what I mean? It's going crazy in the urban communities right now. And I think everybody needs to come out and get on the front line. Like, all the talking and what we doing about, like, all that stuff is over. When it comes to the ratting situation and all like that, I mean, a rat is a rat. I mean, I understand Alpo was allegedly at Jim Jones, one of his birthday parties or something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, man, let's call a spade a spade. Alpo is what niggas really wanted to be. Yeah, Mitch was getting the money, but Alpo was fly. Alpo was everything. And he had the bodies, he had the money, the girls, and the style. So that's why a nigga would never tell some fuck shit to Alpo face, because Alpo didn't really been about that life. He's been about that life with the rappers in the early days used to rap about him. So you're right, it is a double standard. We ain't gonna forgive Tekashi and what he did to Treyway, but I'm willing to believe that Alpo eventually he's gonna go from a Jim Jones party to a Rock Nation brunch. Because he's still connected to some of the right individuals, obviously. So when you look at this situation, we need to really call a spade, and make people hold themselves accountable. Now, like I said, when it comes to Styles P and that whole situation, Hassan has some points. A lot of y'all music was gritty, grimy, and all about that street life. And I understand us as males and individuals, we mature and we grow. But when your past is documented and that documentation fueled a lot of young boys in the streets to do crimes and to mislead them, you have to bring that back to the forefront. Even though you doing juice bars and all like that, and you speaking to the youth now, we want to be able to see that. And that's what he's talking about. Meaning that you guys took the oath that you're controlled. Same with Kwame Brown in that situation. Kwame, he's hot on the internet right now. We rocking with Kwame. But at the same time, you was the number one pick in the draft. We know that there's an oath that comes with that. You ain't getting picked number one and all that stuff, and you ain't down with the program. You ain't about to be on songs with Diddy wearing shiny suits if you ain't down with the program. You ain't hollering out Dipset if you wasn't down with the program. So all three of them could be compromised, obviously. Do I think some of them try to clean up their mess and try to make things right? Yeah, absolutely. But after they shine, it's faded. Because when you was in the middle of it, you was hollering the most obscene shit. You was being on the most grimiest shit. You was saying F and death to all rats and snitches. But now you in your 40s, it ain't, everybody comes in peace, love for all rats and snitches, and the street code don't matter. So y'all can't do Hassan like that, because Hassan speaks for a lot of dudes on the other side and how we look at things. Because I believe that you niggas took the oath. I believe that all you dudes is part of the program, a part of the ignorance, a part of the entertainment. When you get to a certain level, that's just what has to happen. And being a part of something that almost caused genocide to a whole generation of youth. And now we're in this drill time where everybody's getting it. Everybody's a killer, shooter. we need to step up, man, and really call it out and try to reel it back, because right now it's going too far. So I can't tell these entertainers not to speak out like Styles P, and just because, you sold in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? No, we need as many people as possible to speak out against these evils. But at the end of the day, everybody need to own their truth. Does Hassan flip and manipulate certain things for his own benefit? Yeah. But that's every dude. That's everybody. Especially when it comes to views and this is how you eat. By the clickbait, by speaking irrational sometimes, by going against the grain. That's what made him who he was. I understand he got his platform based on a tragic situation, but for him to keep growing his platform to be where he's at now is because he's tapped into a certain frequency, a certain audience. And a lot of the stuff he's saying is true in reference to a lot of you dudes making that transition, crossing over some of the dirt that you dudes did. I mean, what he calling about Jim, like I said, Jim, a spade with it, cuz. You got to come out and make things right in these urban communities, man, because you caused a lot of damage. You birthed a lot of what's going on. You niggas like the grandfathers to this thing right now. So it is going to take a concerted effort from the OGs in hip-hop to maybe go against the younger wave, to have them clean it up, man, and own up to their responsibilities. Because if y'all don't, they not going to accept y'all. They're not going to respect that. So, man, y'all get in the comment box, man, and y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Is Hassan wrong for coming at Styles P, Kwame Brown, and Jim Jones the way he's doing? Or is he calling a spade and calling these dudes out for what they are, being hypocrites in their own situations? I want to know what y'all think. Y'all get in the comment box, like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications, man. Rock with the channel. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Don Peoples. Deadbolt. Gone.